This short piece is part of a series from the Missile Dialogue Initiative (MDI) team focusing on selected missile and arms control developments. The aim of MDI is to strengthen international discussion and to promote a high-level exchange of views on missile technologies and related international security dynamics. Cologne, Germany. The German government continued another round of talks with vendors Lockheed Martin and MBDA this week about a contract for the TLVS missile defense system. The ongoing negotiations suggest there is still no common ground on the legal framework for costs and risks associated with the next generation program. Berlin had asked the contractors in early May to submit a revised bid, the third attempt to nail down a replacement for the country's aging Patriot fleet. For its part, the Defense Ministry is still expecting a formal offer later this summer, a spokeswoman told Defense News on Friday. Hiccups lie mostly within the industry team, specifically relating to how and if the U.S. defense giant Lockheed can bend to Berlin's demands that the contractors absorb the majority of risk if problems come up in the program. German officials have so stretched the scope of desired capabilities of the former medium extended air defense system, the basis for TLVS, that the effort amounts to a new development including a ramp for integrating defenses against hypersonic missiles. Those high-tech aspirations come packaged in Germany's new defense acquisition process that seeks to right past procurement failures by pushing more liability to companies. The ongoing negotiations come with the understanding that the new offer, if Lockheed decides to go forward sometime next month, equates to a contract-ready agreement that would be presented to lawmakers after the summer break. Next year is an election year in Germany, which means there's little appetite to push big-ticket acquisitions come January. A lot hangs on the TLVS program for Lockheed, as German defense leaders last year connected its outcome to the competition for a new heavy-lift helicopter fleet. Lockheed's subsidiary Sikorsky is offering the CH-53K for that race, going against Boeing's CH-47 Chinook. Berlin has approved a shipment of 2,700 Soviet-era shoulder-fired Strela missiles to Ukraine, according to government sources cited by news agencies. The weapons would come out of the depots once overseen by Soviet-controlled East Germany, which reunited with West Germany after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. Over the weekend, the German government decided to supply Ukraine with 500 US-made surface-to-air Stinger missiles and 1,000 anti-tank weapons. A source told the Reuters news agency that the missiles were ready to be transported, but that the Federal Security Council has yet to approve the move. Historical shift: Germany had refused to send weapons to Ukraine before the Russian government launched its offensive last Thursday. But the move marked a historical shift, according to Chancellor Olaf Scholz. In this situation, it is our duty to support Ukraine's defense against the invading army of Vladimir Putin to the best of our ability, he said after the attack. Richard Walker, DW's chief international editor, said Germany could quickly send the shoulder-fired Strela missiles to Ukraine because they were readily available. These are not complicated weapons, they are a type of weapons that many people in the Ukrainian military would have been familiar with over the years, he said. Walker added the weapons would be easy to deploy because they are small enough to be carried by people. He said despite the weapon deliveries, Germany doesn't want to become part of this conflict. A German lawmaker told DW he was surprised the weapons were still in the country's arsenal. We are heavily searching now what we can afford to give away, and somebody found them. I was also surprised. I did not even know that we have those Strela weapons still in our compartment, said Alexander Muller of the Free Democrats. Ukrainian armed forces to receive 84 disposable anti-tank missile systems from Sweden. The armed forces of Ukraine have received their first batch of Saab 84 disposable anti-tank launchers from Sweden. Sweden will supply Ukraine with 5084s, according to previous reports. Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson announced on Sunday that Sweden will break the principle of not supplying weapons to conflict countries and will provide conflict countries with 5000 anti-tank launchers, 5000 body armor and 5000 combat helmets, and 135,020 for our field rations. Ukraine. The Swedish Prime Minister stressed that this is the first time since the Soviet Union invaded Finland in 1939 that Sweden has provided arms to a country in an armed conflict. Swedish media reported that Ukraine specifically requested the Robo-57 anti-tank system, also known as the NIOR, and 84 disposable anti-tank launchers. And LOR is a short-range launch frigate anti-tank missile system jointly developed by the United Kingdom and Sweden. Designed for infantry use, the NIOR is shoulder-fired and disposable, firing ones before being handled. The 84 is a Swedish 84mm 3.31 in unguided man-portable single-shot disposable recoil is smoothbore anti-tank weapon developed by Saab Bofors Dynamics, formerly Bofors Anti-Armor Systems manufacturer. 84 requires very little training and is very simple to use, making it suitable for general problems. The 84 may be considered a one-off low-cost replacement for the Carl Gustaf 8.4 cm recoilless rifle. The 84 adopted many of the design features of Carl Gustaf, who worked as a recoilless weapon where the forward inertia of the projectile was coupled with a propellant gas ejected from the rear of the barrel inertial phase balance. But unlike Carl Gustaf, who used heavier and more expensive steel rifling tubes, the one-off 84 design greatly reduced manufacturing costs by using a reinforced smoothbore fiberglass outer tube. Being a disposable gun also allows for lighter and cheaper construction. The system would be based on Israel's Arrow 3 model and would be capable of intercepting long-range ballistic missiles. "We must prepare ourselves," said German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz confirmed on Sunday that his government is considering setting up a missile shield for the whole of Germany. The missile defense system will be based on the Israeli model. What did Scholz say? "A missile shield is certainly among the things we are discussing for good reason," Scholz told broadcaster ARD. "We must all prepare ourselves for the fact that we have a neighbor presently ready to use force to assert its interests." Scholz declined to give any more details on the possible plan, adding that it was not final. Shortly after Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine in February, Scholz announced a $110 billion special fund for strengthening Germany's military. According to German newspaper Bild, Germany's chancellor discussed how to use the fund with Bundeswehr Inspector General Eberhard Zorn and Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht on Wednesday. What do we know about the Israeli model? German newspaper Bild am Sonntag had previously reported that Germany was considering purchasing an Israeli Arrow 3 system. This system would cost $2.20 billion, the newspaper reported. The Arrow system is capable of destroying long-range ballistic missiles and can function at altitudes as high as the stratosphere. Israel's Arrow system is not to be confused with the Iron Dome, which destroys lower-flying short-range missiles. Germany's Bundeswehr already has a Patriot system which is capable of intercepting short-range missiles. Although Saab has not specified which variant of the RBS-15 the German Navy is set to receive, considering other armament upgrades being applied to the second batch of Braunschweig-class corvettes, it is possible that the Deutsche Marine have requested the latest version. The result would be an increased standoff capability and ability to more accurately target both land and sea targets.